Hey everyone, it's October 31st, and that means that if today's your birthday, you share with Italian-Argentinian serial killer Cayetano Santos Godino, known as Petiso Orejudo, which translates roughly to big-eared little person, who murdered at least 4 children beginning when he was just 10 years old. And that is him right over there. And I'd like to apologize for my terrible Spanish pronunciation. Born on Halloween in 1896, Godino was the last of 8 sons in a family of immigrants from the Calabrian region of Italy who moved to Buenos Aires to escape poverty. His father was an abusive alcoholic musician who contracted syphilis before the advent of antibiotics that could treat it, and often beat his wife and kids. As a young child, Godino suffered from bouts of enteritis, an infection caused by eating or drinking contaminated food or water, or close contact with an infected person or animal. He was a poor student who was expelled from 6 different schools for displaying a lack of effort in applying himself, and grew up illiterate while showing signs of violent urges at a young age, often killing cats and birds for the fun of it, and starting fires at school. When he was just 8, he beat and shoved a 2-year-old boy into a patch of thorny bushes, and were it not for a policeman walking by, he likely would have hurt the child even more. A year later, he took an 18-month child into a remote area and beat him in the head with a rock. A policeman heard the cries and brought him to the station, but due to his young age, he was let go. When he was 10, Godino attempted to strangle a young girl, but failing to kill her, buried her alive under a pile of garbage. She was never found, and no one in positions of authority paid attention to the problems of immigrants at that time, and her family ultimately just moved back to Italy. He then killed his family's pet canaries and left them in his shoebox beside his father's bed. After that incident, local authorities agreed to take charge of the boy, and he was out of the house for a few months, but when he returned, he had reached an age of sexual maturity and would often pleasure himself multiple times a day. In 1908, Godino was now 12 years old, and he killed a 2-year-old boy by drowning him in a horse trough. When caught in the act, he claimed to have happened upon a woman who was drowning the child, and once again got away with it. 6 days later, he burned the eyelids of an infant, and he was finally sent to a colony of smaller peace, roughly a juvenile hall, for 3 years, where he was subject to tremendous abuse, being released at age 15. Obsessed with fire, Godino had developed a drinking problem and loved to set buildings ablaze, and he killed a 13-year-old child the year after his release. He then lit a girl's dress on fire in a store, and her grandfather was hit by a car and killed when running across the street to respond to her cries. The girl died 2 weeks later from her burns. After killing another boy and setting several more buildings on fire, the police finally caught on that he was trouble, and in 1912 he was arrested after killing a young boy by hammering a nail into the child's head. While in jail, he attempted to kill several other inmates and was declared insane, being sent to the Ushuaia Penitentiary for 4 murders, 7 attempted murders, and several arsons that he confessed to committing, though it seems likely there were way more victims than that. He was there until 1944, when Godino died under strange circumstances that seemed to indicate he was killed by fellow inmates. The prison has been converted to a museum, and if you visit Argentina, you can get a photo standing next to one of multiple wax figures of Godino, which is clearly the best reason to go there. If this is your birthday, I hope you have a great day. Leave me a comment so I can wish you a happy birthday. If you know someone whose birthday it is today, send them this video so they can find out all about their birthday twin. And to Cayetano Santos Godino, I say, happy birthday, you bastard.